right, hello everybody. This is Rachel. I am going to show you a little bit of myofascial release, partly because I want to do some myself today. It's a great way to just help with soreness. Usually you tend to want to do it before you do some kind of exercise, just to get the blood flowing in the areas that you're trying to work. So it just feels good, okay? So you're kind of getting yourself ready for action. So let's start with foam roller. We're gonna start with the thighs. So front of the thighs. Okay, so we're laying over. What I like is we could be into a little forearm plank there and go forward and back for a little bit. It's about 30 seconds, which I didn't bring my watch, so my timer, so I'll be looking at my watch. Now, if rolling forward and back isn't quite enough pressure for you, let's take it to a little bit of what I call a shimmy, okay, or shearing of the muscles. We're taking it side to side. That'll give you more intensity on those quads if you need it. All right, so a little shimmy with it, forward and back. Good. I was doing stuff from my house, but I thought, let me come into this nice room in our renovated gym. So I really love this room with all the neon lights. All right, let's take 3, 2, and 1. Now, you can, if you have a spot that's tender, so I have a spot that's tender in that right thigh, you can stay right there. Now, I like a little more pressure, so then I'll rest my upper body in, and I might, while I'm staying in that spot, just move my feet back and forth. So it makes it a little more intense. Again, I like intensity. Or you can just hold. All right, let's take 20 more seconds here. Deep breaths really help to relax, which is the idea. We want to relax into this so the tight spots can melt. All right, now, comment on that. Now, we'll go to the shins. Seems crazy, but we're aiming at the outside of the shins, okay? Okay, now let's go for, what I like to do is child's pose, so I'll open my knees, okay? So opening my knees so that I'm on the, for lack of a better word, meat, the muscles of my shins there, all right? And then I like to roll it forward and back. And you wouldn't usually think, oh no, that's too much, but again, if you're on the muscles, not the bone, you're in it's a pretty good spot. And to be honest, I prefer a regular foam roller. So there's all types of foam rollers, but for shins, this foam roller is fairly soft. So like I said, for my quads, I needed to shear things. For my shins, I don't necessarily need to, all right? But you can kind of play with it here. And again, you could shimmy if you like. All right, let's go 20 more seconds. This is a loose count I'm doing. But man, I tell you, these do wonders. And I had stopped doing this for a while because I wasn't teaching the class. And I felt the difference when I started doing it again. All right, now you can roll all the way up to your ankle. So the roller is in the crevice of your ankle. Oh, hold on. If you had a spot you wanted to hold in, let's hold there, about 30 seconds or so. I really like how this feels on my low back too. So I got a child's pose going on with a little bit of extra pull because I'm in this, on top of this roller. And then can roll back onto the shin. So we're now in the crevice of the foot again. Okay, so right where the ankle, I guess the foot and the shin meet, the ankle. And just a little bit of side shimmy. I wouldn't even call this a shimmy. Side rocking. actually might have did this video already. All right, and let's take 5 more breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Then I'm gonna get into the glutes. So I'm gonna sit as some people might call it side saddle, sitting sideways, so I can get into that right glute. If you like, cross that right leg over left. And sometimes we'll just do a little bit of a swivel too. Oh my goodness, it is lovely. So these usually glutes I tend to do in a chair with a lacrosse ball. If I don't have a video of that, I will make one. Because again, this is foam roller is a little softer, so it's perfect when you're getting into this glute and hip socket. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. And if you like, hold in a figure 4. Okay, so the legs cross and I'm holding forward. And you could definitely hold longer if you like. Otherwise, about 30 seconds is good, or 5 slow deep breaths, and I'll do those 5 breaths. So a little bit on the edge, left leg on top of right. And now we're going either forward and back, or a little mixture of this little, let's call it a swivel. About 3 more breaths. So yeah, if you don't have a watch on you, and I didn't do the count, did I? I'll do it on this next one. If you don't have a watch on you, slow deep breaths, about 5 slow deep breaths will give you about 30 seconds. All right, now I'm gonna center and I'll do the slow breath. So going for that figure 4, staying up here or reaching through the legs. Inhale, filling the belly. Exhale, that's 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. All right, so slow deep breaths. And you want to breathe into the belly. Breathing into the belly gives you more space for air. And it also, which also makes you calmer. All right, so I'm going for the hamstrings, which again, generally I would do with a lacrosse ball, but we're gonna do it with a foam roller today. Okay, so what I'll do with the hamstrings, since I don't feel a lot of sensation in the hamstrings on a regular foam roller, I will shimmy my legs side to side. So really more of a side to side than an up and down. If I can, I'll hold on to something over my head, like a TRX, so that I don't have to put the pressure on my arms. That's why I generally don't love to do hamstrings. But if this is what you got, this is what we're working with today. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll swivel the legs a little, and then we might even get a little bit into some of the inner thigh when we go with these swivels. 30 to 90 seconds. You can do a little jumping jack legs. And going for a little bit of that inner thigh there. Oh, there we go. All right, let's go 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll go into the calf. So this is another one. Actually, go for the back of the knee for a second. Interesting feeling. The back of the knee. We got lymph nodes there, so hey, we're giving a little massage to that. But generally, I'll do my calves on the couch, which you might have seen a previous video of me doing calves on the couch, but we'll go through them anyways. So let's start at the top of the calf, so I'm a little bit below my knee now. All right, and this requires shearing because the calves are smaller. That's why I do like a lot of pressure myself. We're gonna dig in. You could put one leg on top of the other. Yeah, I do remember doing this now. So we won't stay here really long, but I'm going to go for upper body today too. All right. Lucky I'm in here and not kidding. Having people coming just yet. All right, let's take it for 3, 2, and 1. And I'm gonna go for the other calf. So again, starting at the top, I'm putting a little more pressure. Whew. And 4. Reach down. Actually, I'm not gonna count down yet. Let's go a little bit further down the calf. Because again, you could roll forward and back, but this side to side is so much more effective, in my opinion. Rolling can even really open up the knee and get the outside of the leg. Because for me, I had fractured this part of my leg, so it feels kind of good to foam roll that as well. All right. Now we're gonna leave those alone because I have done that one in a previous video. All right. Hey, we'll call this a total body. All right, so let's get into the arm. So I want to start with the shoulder and the chest. So if you press into, ooh, I feel it already, this part of your chest, you're gonna notice some tenderness. And it seems like it doesn't matter who we are, even if you didn't know that you had it, you're gonna find it when you press into there. So what I wanna do is I'm gonna use the foam roll. I'm gonna act like I'm giving my brother a noogie. Okay, so go forward, hopefully not flash you guys. Okay, and first things first is I'm gonna pin that down. So I have this right in this little section for my shoulder and my chest. And not a lot of movement there. I'm gonna do a little rotation of the hand and lean away. Rotation, lean away. Whew, nice massage. Yeah, let's go 5 breaths here. Don't forget the rotation so you can hit different parts. 4. 3. 2. And last one. And on that one, I do kind of, so I like my palm up to stay in the front of my shoulder. Maybe pop that opposite leg out. So I'm doing right arm with my left knee out. And now I'm gonna take a little further to get some bicep. Okay, so I'm literally got my bicep on, and I'm gonna rotate again so I can hit different parts of that bicep. Ooh, I love it. All right, and let's get to the other side. So giving your brother a noogie, or you can give your sister a noogie if you want. Finding your chest muscle there and going for that little rotation up and down. So again, I'm not really, the roller's not even rolling, I'm rolling. All right, 5 breaths here. I'm doing what I don't always love. I don't love to hear people breathing deeply or their mouth noises in these videos when I watch them. So hopefully you won't hear too much mouth noise besides me talking. Or that swallowing noise you hear in videos. So probably good I don't have a mic. All right, let's take 3, 2, and 1. And again, if you like, I'm gonna hold with the top of my shoulder because that's where a lot of tension is. will go for that bicep. So now a little further away, I'll show you sideways, and again rotating. But I'm showing you sideways so you can see it, but maybe just diagonal that roller, but you're actually rolling the roller a little bit, moving your palm up and down. And I'm looking up so I can see you guys, but I would suggest after you see what I'm doing, look down so you're not straining your neck. 5 more breaths. One there, and if you like, pause the video, hold in that bicep. So I'm going to do a little bit of triceps, which triceps are a little tougher to get from this angle. Generally I found like a table or something to put this on, but if you can, if you need a table or a stool, you could put this on a table or a stool at this point. What I'm going to do, so it's a little tougher, I might have to actually go sideways. Put the back of the arm on the roller, and I'm supporting, so I'm not putting all my weight into my shoulder, and we're gonna roll it forward and back. I was gonna do puppy pose, but puppy pose is not for everybody, so let's calm down, Rachel. All right, you can probably do this up the wall too. Not gonna be as intense because, hey, we got gravity assisting us. Man, I'm feeling that tricep. I love it, and I tend to be very sore in my triceps. All right, let's take 4, 3, trying to keep it at the back of the arm. 2, you can bend the elbow, but it seems like the triceps kind of flex in there, but you can get something out of it, or you can straighten the arm. 2, and 1, and hold there if you like. Oh man, you can even kind of do that shearing. Some rest in my ear on my arm. I'm always working both biceps and triceps. So it seems like it's the triceps that are more sore. And come on up. We're gonna do that other side. So again, elevate, put it on a bench or something. I'm doing a little impromptu, so I'm just gonna, again, go with what I have. All right, so back of the arm and rolling forward and back. And you can do a little bit of hand movement there. I don't know if I said that. If you have a whole day, if you have a whole lot of time, so if you don't have a whole lot of time, just do this video. But if you do a lot of working out and you're very sore and you're just getting to where you're like, I don't know if I could keep this up, make sure you're doing recovery. It's not about kicking your ass. If you like to, find that spot to hold. You have to recover so that you can kick your ass again if you want. Left. All right, let's go to the back. So I'm going to go to the back and the neck. First, I'll start with the back. So about mid-back, I've done it on my low spine. It doesn't feel great. So I tend to stay more to the upper back. I'll show you how we can get to this quadratus lumborum. Scientific. But that's sides of the back there. So if you have hair, long hair, you want to get it out the way. I have been trapped by a foam roller before, and I like a lot of intensity, so I will lift my butt if you want more intensity, and then kind of open the shoulders, and then slowly roll. Exhaling on that roll. Inhale, lift. Exhale, so we got a nice squeeze of the glutes if you want that intensity, and then rolling down, looking for an initial pop. One of those good pops. Chiropractic pop, not a bad pop. There it goes. Actually do a little hamstring work with this. And lift. Slowly melt down. I'm just gonna do 3 more here. Slowly articulating the spine. And 2. Opening the chest. All right, last one. All right. And then I'll stop just below the ribs and get a little bit of side to side here. Maybe arms crossed. Then I'll move down a little bit. So arms crossed or hands behind the head. I'm doing a little swivel right and left. Move up a little bit more. And I do generally like to do this with the cross balls too, or tennis balls. My husband says I like pain, so the lacrosse balls are harder. They do bounce. The tennis balls are softer. Might do a softball for that chest area. For the back, probably not, because we're not as meaty on the back. Talking about meatiness. All right, and then we're going to come up a little bit more. And again, I get more benefit from this little side to side. Let's take 4, 3. You can always hold 2. And 1. And then we're going to work up to the neck. So this generally works better with these lighter foam rollers. You can do a heavy one. We're not putting pressure. I'm just resting the foam roller in the natural crease of my neck. Now, I do have braids today, so they're a little bit in my way. And I'm going to take the head side to side. So again, not putting a lot of pressure, just letting the natural pressure that's there do the work. And I'll take it side to side. It feels really nice. And that occipital bone, that bone in the back of your skull. We actually hold a lot of tension in the back of our skull and neck. Probably know that. And I used to teach this class. If I forgot this part, I had one lady tell me, don't forget the neck. And, I would have thought she was an older person, so I would have thought she was like a little nervous about it. No, she loved it. Let's take 2 and 1. Now, on this first set, I'm going to face you, okay? So I'm going to roll to the side. Again, not putting extra pressure, resetting that so it's right in that crevice of my neck, and I'm just shaking my head no. And then I'm going to look up to shake my head yes. Really, I'm just looking to the left, because I'm on my right side, and looking up. Looking away, and looking up. Feels really nice on the neck. Let's go 5 more breaths there. So there's no's and yeses. Brings me back to the idea of let your no's be no's, let your yes be yes. Well, something I heard about being flip-floppy, which I can. I look at all angles of things, so sometimes I might change my mind a lot, but I want to try to work on that, right? So let my no's be no's and my yes be yes. You know what you like, you know what you don't. All right, now let's take it to the other side. So again, I'm going to go the other way. Normally I wouldn't face away, but this is good for you to see what's going on. Get it in that crevice of the neck. First we can do our nose. And then I'm going to play with the yes. My no and my yes. Maybe if we're going between them, that's a maybe. Let's go 4 more breaths. Oh my goodness. Maybe a couple more, huh? Back up off of here. Let's see. maybe some forearms, and then I think we'll call it a day. So again, for the forearms, you might also want, like if you got a stool or a seat of a chair. I had chairs. I'll do it another time with chairs. So I'll use my legs. Forearms. Might want to take the watch off if you have a watch on, or a bracelet. Okay, and I'm gonna just do a little rolling. Really, I'm just putting pressure into the forearms. Gonna go forward and back. If you got wrist issues, man, this is helpful. I say these things because I have wrist issues. I've done so much exercise that I really enjoy exercise. But as I'm getting older, I can't quite go as crazy if I'm not gonna recover as I used to. Let's take 3, 2. I thought somebody was coming in. I was gonna wrap it up. All right, so now if you like, flex that hand. Again, you might need that little side to side and other side. Flex that hand, moving up and down. And you can do your forearms. Might be better done by itself, so I got the palm up and getting those forearms. A lot of tension in those gripping muscles, and that'll cause the switch. That'll cause us to have, it could start to bother us in the wrist. All right, now there is a little full body foam rolling from my dirty socks. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.